crowd are on their feet now. This has to be one of the best performances we've seen of the year. Only in the dying minutes will we ever see anything as great as this ever again. Oh, and it's a goal!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I have a very special guest on today's show. It is Stéphane Auvray from the head coach of Bula FC and also the Fiji men's national team. Good day to you, Stéphane. How are you?
Good day. I'm fine, thank God. How are you doing?
All good, all good. I've been looking forward to this interview for a little while. So for those people who are not aware of Bula FC and Stéphane Auvray, maybe just a bit of a background into who you are, what you've done, your playing and your coaching career up until the Fiji appointment.
I'll try to make it short. So, my name is Stéphane Auvray. I was born in Guadeloupe, which is French Caribbean. I grew up on the island of Saint Martin, which is French and Dutch Caribbean. And then I moved to France when I was 13-year-old to play football. So I went through the development system of Ligue 1, Ligue 2 club, which is in Normandy, Stade Malherbe de Caen. And then I played in different clubs in France. I played professionally in France until I was 28. And then I moved to the MLS, played in the MLS. I also played in Southeast Asia. And when I retired, I also played for the Guadeloupe national team. So I played several Gold Cups and captained the team. I retired and opened my own football club in the US, which was called European Soccer Institute. Then I became the head coach of the Saint Martin national team in the CONCACAF. Then worked for FIFA as a FIFA Talent Coach. And now I'm the head coach of the Fiji men's football national team, as well as Bula FC in the OFC Pro League.
Wow. And you did that in record time as well. That's like 2 minutes. That's awesome. I do have a few questions about the FIFA Talent Coach because I've never actually heard of that before. So, how long did it take to do that? How did you get some roles? Because I understand you had a few roles in the Caribbean after completing that course. So maybe just let us know where you started after.
Well, I was at the time working with my own club, European Soccer Institute. And I got to a phase after 10 years where I felt that I wanted to have a better, bigger impact. And a friend actually, through a coaching course, mentioned the TDS talent development scheme from FIFA and the talent coach program. And he just told me in the course of the conversation, I think this is for you. Just like this. So I went look for information. I found it was very interesting because it was about developing high performance players in every environment and creating the future talents, the talents of the future, I would say. So I applied for the job, 1 interview, 2 interviews, 3 interviews, got the job. And funny enough, I rejected the offer because the timing was off. I was at the time doing my UEFA Elite Youth A license. And I explained to them that I had to finish the course and the dates to start the job were not working. And it seems like I made a good impression at the interviews because they told me, no problem, we'll adjust to your diplomas, finish what you have to do. You could start the FIFA Talent Coach job. And once you're done with your UEFA Youth A license, you just move on straight away to the job. So this is how we got to work things out.
Wow. And I understand you had roles in St. Lucia and also in Jamaica.
Yes. I actually went to Bermuda first to make an assessment of the situation of the youth development in Bermuda. Then I went to Jamaica, work with the U15s and the U14s. Thank God it worked well because we trained for 6 months, and then the U14 ended up being the best team in the Caribbean region. And more than winning the tournament, it was the fact that we had the best goalkeeper, the top scorer, and the MVP, which means the players were developing properly. Actually, this group of players just qualified for the U17 World Cup. So it's good. And then I went to St. Lucia, and there we were able to create the first high-performance center in the history of the country, which was good, before moving on to my current position.
So it's no wonder really that with all this experience in these different islands, and we're almost in a similar situation. It's again an island, but not in the Caribbean this time. It's in Fiji. So one thing I wanted to ask you is what, because you coached in Caribbean and the Pacific and Europe, how would you describe your coaching philosophy?
You have to adapt to the context. I believe a philosophy is based on what you see. So you have to make an assessment of the context. And once you understand what you have, how people function, how the players function, and where you could take them, it's really based on the potential of the place where you're at. And based on that potential, you can then have a vision to make a plan. So the players are here, the context is this, the environment is this is what I can do with this, how do we get there? And then you build a plan. So the philosophy has to be an adaptable philosophy, because you cannot just come up with your own idea of football and how things should be and try to force them on the environment if it's not the right idea.
Yeah. And when you were looking at players and selecting them and stuff, what would matters to you more than just pure talent? What else do they need to have?
Well, as I mentioned, is really potential, which basically means this is where you're at, but with a different type of training and coaching, I believe this is where you would be. So it's the ability of the player for growth, the ability of the staff members for growth, and the ability of the member association, so the federation, for growth. If there's no room for growth, this is how I function. The job becomes probably less interesting, because you may not be very efficient and indispensable to the member association. So it's important to go somewhere where you can make a difference. If you can't, maybe it's not the right time or the right place.
When you look at these players and you're seeing, that maybe now is not the right time, and come back later and stuff. Is that a hard thing for a coach to talk to those players, and how do you approach that?
I'm very honest and straightforward with the players, with everybody. They know exactly what I think, what I plan to do. So no, I don't find it difficult. I think it's easy to be honest with people. They may not appreciate it on the moment, but I know that looking back, they will appreciate it, because we're all the same. It's difficult to hear the truth, but at least you have respect for the person who tells you things, because they're being honest with you. So it's not really a problem. I don't think it is for the players as well. It's important to be honest, and at least maybe the player knows where he stands, or the staff member, or whoever else. And if you make your own self-reflection, you may get something out of that, and then there may be room for growth as well.
Yeah, and you're probably doing them a big favor, and they can take it upon themselves to really change direction if they have to, and move in what they.
It's my vision. So again, I could be wrong. You have to consider this too. We have a certain way to perceive, to see things, but it's possible that someone else will say something different. But this is life. We don't all see things the same way.
Yeah. All right, so I want to move on to Fiji now, and understanding the Fijian game. When you first arrived in Fiji, what stood out for you straight away as a real strength for Fijian players?
We're talking what? We're talking football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or aptitude, or you know, personality maybe as well. That could be a strength.
The facilities. It was the first thing that I saw. There's a beach soccer field, there's a futsal court, we have 2 good grass fields, there's housing, there's a kitchen with actually someone cooking for the players. The facility for me was the first thing I saw, and I thought, okay, infrastructures are the most important thing, good infrastructures. There's equipment. And it was reassuring in some ways, because I'm thinking if they invested in those infrastructures, it's because they want to get somewhere. So good. Culturally, I would say the players, and I mean, it was pretty obvious because I went straight to the MSG with the players to compete. It was really interesting to have amateur players playing for their national team. And I believe in this region, people don't even realize this, but most national teams worldwide are composed of professional players who went through a development system in a professional club for years and then end up playing at the top level of their country, of another country, and then play for the national team. Whereas there, it was very different to see players who are amateur players, didn't go through any development system, being selected for the national team, competing for a World Cup qualification against full professional players. So maybe I really had to do a change in mindset for me and for them, to explain to them this is the reality of things. There's a big gap with the people you're competing with worldwide, and you're going to have to be conscious of this.
Yeah. Would you say, is there a natural flair of the Fijian player? What is the typical Fijian player? Is he a risk taker? Is he more reserved? Are they more all attack minded? Or is there a particular style, even if they're not professional or the amateur? What strikes you most as the typical Fijian player?
I would probably answer to the question with a question. I think this is something we have to figure out, and this is something we're starting to figure out with Bula FC. I believe, and I could understand this because of the environment, the culture, that so far the Fijian player probably sees football as with the ball. What do we do with the ball? Can we play some combination plays? Can we dribble? They see it as enjoying themselves with the ball. So one of my first things was to ask them, when you guys play football, let's take a 90 minutes game. How long does a player actually has the ball in his feet if we combine every time he touches the ball? They didn't really know, so I got 8 minutes, 6 minutes. So I had to tell them that the player actually touches the ball 1.5 minutes, maximum 2 minutes in a 90 minutes game, which means that for 88 minutes, you're not touching the ball. So what do you do? And it was a big shock for them to actually come to the realization that 88 minutes out of 90, I do not have the ball. So the game is actually more, what do I do when I don't have the ball, instead of what do I do for those 2 minutes when I touch the ball? And once you create that shift in mindset, they start to understand what their identity as football players would be. And as you can see, if you watch the Bula FC games, we're good with the ball, but slowly it's shifting to something more than that. There's a work ethic, there's a mindset, there's a fighting spirit, there's a discipline. To answer your question, I'm not sure yet, but I think we're slowly discovering what the Fiji identity is as a professional player, professional football.
Yeah. Of course, I remember when I first found out about Bula FC, I think it was probably November or December last year in 2025. And I started watching the videos you were putting out and the club was putting out. And I saw in pre-season a big focus on the fitness and endurance side of things. So my question is, how important is that physical base to have before you actually get into the tactical side of the game?
Okay. Do you practice any sport?
I used to play football, and then I was injured, and then so I'm a spectator and a podcaster now.
So I mean, you know this. If you are not fit in whatever sport you do, you cannot perform. You cannot perform. Even someone who plays golf will be at the gym. So the answer is very straightforward. If you're not fit, there's no way you could perform unless you're playing amateur football. And so far, our players were playing amateur football. So it's a football with no high expectation. If you want to walk for a few minutes, you will walk, because it's non-professional. Now, professional football, the emphasis on fitness was big, because I saw the players play the MSG and the Pacific Cup, and it was very obvious that the level of fitness was very, very poor. The players worked really hard. It was difficult for them, very difficult, but it's paying off. And I think now they understand why, because we are really, really good at finishing games, which was not the case before preseason. So, yeah, it's major.
Yeah. And when you say finishing games, could they last one half, or you reached 60 minutes and then that was it? They had nothing else to give.
They could last more or less 30 minutes. Then it was hoping that we get to halftime. They would give you 10 minutes in second half, and then it's over. You have to know that I went to the Pacific Cup and it was twice 30 minutes. So then you start to understand as well. It's not twice 45. I'm not sure, but I believe there are tournaments as well in Fiji that are twice 30 minutes. So it's for professional football, it was not adapted. Again, I really, the players work really hard, and now what they can do is pretty amazing based on where they were 4 months ago. So congratulations to them. There's a lot to be done, but it's a good start.
So how do you get that balance between working hard like you did to the players in preseason, and even up to all the OFC Pro League games, and the recovery? What's the balance between that? Between the physical and the recovery?
Yeah, the program was really planned up to now. So the balance was a heavy load of work for the first 3 weeks. And then the following 2 weeks, it was more based on speed and explosiveness. And on week 6, we moved to preparing the game, the first game. Tactically, it was defense, compactness, defend as a team for Circuit 1, and playing on the wings. Circuit 2, it was based, it's always tactic and fitness. You work together.
Yeah.
It's called periodization. So you try to englobe your fitness in your tactical and technical work. So the second phase, which was between Circuit 1 and 2, was about our possession in the opponent's half, which is less sprinting, more work based on small movement and shifting. And then between Circuit 2 and 3, it was the final zone, which more runs in the box and finishing. And now we have last topic we're working on, which I will not really go too much in details about.
No, we don't want any secrets out.
But management is made. So, and then in between games, it's full recovery. Honestly, when you play and you have 2 games of recovery, usually the players who did not play make runs on the field right after the game. The following day is off, and the next day is almost nothing because we're playing the following day. So that's how we function.
Cool. So when, for example, a training season session finishes, how do you know if it's been a good training session? What what should players feel or understand when they finish that session?
This is something you get to discover with experience. You never know what's a good session for the game. My point is, very often your team will train very poorly the day before the game, and you may think those guys are not ready, it's going to be a catastrophe, and they're going to give you the best game. Or you're going to have a really good session because you're going to get everything you're looking for. But believe me, you have no guarantee they're going to do it the next day. So it's the beauty of football both ways.
Yeah. I was going to say, how important is individual feedback for you as a coach, and how do you tailor that message to different personalities within the team? Or is it one general message and then one-on-ones?
It depends. You don't want to close yourself in a box. It's important to always be to listen and watch and observe and have a lot of emotional intelligence, because you start to know how the players function, how the player functions, because they're all different. You have the fearless ones, you have the ones who doubt, the ones who need to train a certain way to feel good about themselves, those who don't care, they're young, they just want to play. So observe, listen, and have emotional intelligence, and you will know how to deliver the message individually, collectively, send a little pic to the player through a collective talk. And some players like to be sometimes a little rough speech. They like to be shaken a little bit. So you need to know your players and be very attentive at what's going on. And usually you will find the right way, or at least the way that you believe is best.
Cool. So I think November or October, Bula FC was successful in the application for one of the 8 clubs in the OFC Pro League. I guess there's a big weight of expectation of the nation. So how did you manage that expectation, or is that the media team that deals with people's comments? How's that environment for you?
I think it's about clarity. If the message is clear, because I'm French, I'll take the PSG example. Luis Enrique message was clear. Whether you agree or not, the message was clear. They're gonna rebuild the team. No more Messi, no more Neymar. Mbappe was there for a year, and that's it. They want to bet on the most talented French players. Most of them are from Paris, and bring some players between the age of 20 and 25 to reinforce the team. It will take time, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years. It was very clear. Once you do this, then you can work in peace. You will always have people who will have something to say, but the message is clear, so they won't have that much to say because they know exactly what the plan is. I think, coming back to Bula FC, we have to make sure there's a lot of clarity, because we're dealing with people who have never been in the professional environment. And at first, it really seemed like a lot of people were expecting us on December 1st, we had no players. On December 8th, we had 10 players, 15 players when we resumed. So we resumed training 1 month before the start of the season with a team that never existed, that was not registered yet. And people were expecting us to create a team, make the players fit, transform the players into great players, and go and win a league. You see, it sounds funny this way, but it's exactly what happened. So it was very important to bring clarity and explain to them, listen, a good example. I had a discussion with someone who's telling me, yeah, but you guys have to win more games and, you win the league. And so I asked him if he was a fan of a team. And this person tells me, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan, always been Arsenal. So I look at him and I tell him, so you're telling me that a team that was not existing ever, with players who didn't go through any development system, who were all amateur players, you want us to win the next 17 games and win the league 5 months from now, but you are telling me that you're supporting a team that has, let's say, unlimited budget, the best players in the world, all developing the best clubs in the world, and they didn't win anything for 20 years. But us, Bula FC, who didn't exist, we have to go and win something. But you're still a big fan of a club that did not win anything for the past 20 years, but we only have 3 weeks to get ready.
Yeah, true.
So the perspective sometimes bring people to reflect and think like, yeah, maybe what I was saying didn't make that much sense. So I understand the passion and the emotion.
Yeah,
and that's why when we started, I told everybody what we can guarantee is that the players will give their best. Because this, you can control this, give your best. But you control the content, but not the outcome. And we knew that our content is far from being what it will be 2, 3, 4 years from now. So communication is important and clarity is important. And I think the club is learning to do this. And I can understand that maybe there was not enough clarity for everybody, but as time goes by, I think people really understand that we're playing very young players and there's a plan. Whether we win or lose, we stick to the plan. Whether we end up winning the league, we will stick to the plan. So I went long on this, but clarity and make sure the expectations are actually matching the context. And I think we are within expectations.
Yeah. So as you say, you're building. I'm not an Arsenal fan now. So as you said, you're building the team from the ground up. So with players coming from different backgrounds, like Roy Christian, a professional background, and then you've got different countries, players from New Zealand and other places. How do you create a strong team culture?
This is a good question. That's my perception. I'm mixed. My mom is black from the Caribbean. My dad is white from Normandy. So anything that's a mix for me is a plus. It's an advantage. So when I end up with a team with French, Japanese, Fijian, New Zealand players, I actually see it as a strength. And I'm happy that we are here to share our different cultures because everybody has something different to bring to the table. And it could only build a stronger team because we're learning from each other. How the New Zealand boys do this, how the Fijian boys do it, how the French boys do it. So if you have a monoculture, you can only do one thing. If you actually have many cultures, now you can pick the good things from every culture and make it a stronger one. So no, very easy. And I also always choose the human beings before the players. And it has always been the case. And sometimes I heard, this is a great player, why didn't you pick him? Because I did not believe he was the right human being for the group, because we spend so much time together. It's about what kind of group we have, how do we get along, do we work for each other? Obviously, they have to be good players. And I think so far, thank God, we have a group of people who really get along well, hard workers, have talent in football. And it didn't take too long for the boys to get along really well because they're good people first.
Yeah. And I've seen in some recordings before the match, you're huddled together, singing. I'm not sure if this is a thing you do before every match, but seeing 1 or 2 recordings where everyone's singing together, which is amazing. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's part of the culture.
Yeah.
That's part of the culture.
Is that a local Fijian song that you sing, or everyone learns how to sing that song, or is it whenever anyone says let's sing this one?
Yes, we sing together. Now I let the players sing because I like to give them a space before the game. Some of the foreign players start to learn the words. Everybody claps. So before the game, also before kickoff, they get together in a circle to say a quick prayer. And we also have what we call devotion, which is every night before dinner, where we sing and pray, which is good. I really appreciate because I have a strong relationship with God. So it's good for the players because even those who are not have no connection with God or have no religion, as an example, they actually start to like this get together and this prayer time, and some of them are now intrigued by it. So and it shows because we always try to link our spiritual reflection and devotion with our actual situation as a team. And it's very character building for the players, for the team. So even the players were able to adjust to some cultural things that they were not doing before, and I think they find it profitable now.
That's great. That's cool. So no matter who you're playing, what do you want Bula FC to be known for on the pitch?
Giving everything. Again, you do not control the outcome. I had a pre-game speech on this with the players. I was trying to explain them, if you bet, how do you measure success? That was the question. How do you measure success? And if you measure your success based on wins and losses, you have to pray that you win all the time. Because if you lose, it means you're not successful. The next day you win, I'm very successful. And then you lose again, I'm not successful. So this is not a good measurement tool whether you win or lose, because it's inconsistent. You would measure success on the only thing that you do not control. So you would base success on something that you actually control, that you work on, which is progress. So it's important for our players to understand that their measurement tool has to be based on something that we control, which is the content. And since then, I have to say I saw a transformation in the player mindset as well, because they understand that hard work pays off. And if they work hard, they will be rewarded. And reward means progress, means success. So I kind of lost track of the question, but...
That's all right. Yeah. It was basically what you want Bula to be known for on the pitch, which I think you answered in your first sentence.
Known for for giving everything for the jersey.
Yeah,
this is non-negotiable. Whoever comes to the game must know that those guys, whether they play good, really bad, win or lose, they will give everything for the jersey. And this is what made the identity of clubs before. I know now it's more financial than anything in high-level football, but before, fans were not coming to the game to see their team win or lose. They were coming for the emotions that they would get out of the game, the emotions that you can share with the crowd, with the players, without knowing if they're going to win or lose. And now it became a very different kind of connection with the crowd, which I find very unfortunate, because that's the only thing you don't really know. Are we going to win or lose? We don't know. But are the players going to give their best and represent the jersey? That's what I want the team to be known for.
Yeah. And like you said, I think keeping your eye on the bigger picture, which is the progress, the player development, and seeing people grow as persons and players, rather than a week by week and we won today and we lost the previous match and stuff. I think that's seeing the bigger picture in a competition, a fast moving competition like the OFC Pro League. I think is a more I think it's more healthy outlook rather than relying on results. And that's what the fans do anyway.
Yes, and I'm not trying to change, but sometimes it's good to inspire something else, and this is not sustainable. To always bet on win, lose. Actually, is being proud of your team and sharing something much bigger than this. And if you're working well anyway, you're going to be having some good results if we're talking about the score itself. But it's also to remember, why was the OFC Pro League created? It was to increase competitiveness in the region. And to increase competitiveness, they created a league where the talents of the region could express themselves. They didn't create a league to say, let's see who wins the most games. You start on the first day, you are already qualified for the playoffs. And you cannot get relegated. There's a reason for this. It's to give us enough time to build our organization, to build our teams and our players, to create some growth, so then the national team would benefit from it. And hopefully you will have 2 teams from Oceania qualifying for the World Cup, and maybe 3 in the future if they increase the numbers. We want to build a pathway for the young players. Whether we win or lose, what matters is that there's a real pathway for the Fijian player. He's 6-year-old, he's watching Bula FC, and he's starting to think, this is where I want to play. And that's our responsibility. And yes, we will win some games, maybe some leagues, and lose some, but that's the big picture.
Yeah. Talking about winning or losing games, that last circuit in Solomon Islands, that was 6 points from 6, which was amazing. That comeback win, for being 2-0 down at halftime against South Island United, to win 3-2 in the, what was it, 110th minute or something, or 100th minute, was really exciting. But I think, when I'm just going to add a picture to the stage, when you see the expressions on everyone's faces running, I think this must have been full time. That's a beautiful image of seeing everyone with smiles on their faces running, and especially you and I think it was your son there, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's just great. And I think seeing this picture here of everyone celebrating that win, I mean, I see it as a team togetherness, and I think that is probably even more important. Seeing everyone as that compact team. How much confidence does that give the team heading into the final home round? Do you think the team is peaking performance-wise at the right time?
I think so. And I mean, you don't know what's going to come next, but yes, you can see that there's an evolution, and that things are changing in their approach of the game, their approach of their strength as well, and our weaknesses. And I like those 2 pictures because it's not a celebration of the win. It's a celebration of the team. And you know how it was 2-0 at halftime. And the halftime speech was, guys, if we don't concede one more, there's no way we're losing this. And the belief, it was a celebration of, we believe that actually we were coming back in this game. So, yeah, it's good to have that momentum for the team, for what people call confidence. But again, you don't want to base your confidence on winning a game, because if you lose the next one, it means you're not confident. So it was more a celebration of the hard work and being rewarded for the hard work and the belief. So, yeah, I think the players are in a good mindset to start the circuit at home, and I'm very happy for them. And I love that game, and everybody was happy because we were actually running towards the children. We went and visited a school in Solomon, and the visit was great. And no matter what the score was, the kids cheered for us for the entire game. Never give up on us. And we end up winning 3-2 at the 101st minute. And the first thing we did after praying, we ran to them and we were able to share with them. So this is the story behind the 2 pictures, especially this one.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's I knew there was something special about this picture. I thought I'm gonna share that on this podcast. It means quite a lot, I think. So yes, so we have I know I'm just going to show the current qualification. I'm showing this for the fans mainly. I know that there's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, even 7th position. It's tight. But with two teams. Actually, you're going to be playing the two teams above you, plus Hekari. So how does that feel? Like you're going to be playing Hekari and then Auckland and South Melbourne. That's game by game or
yeah, really. Again, Hekari is last, but they're qualified for the playoffs. So you cannot be thinking like this. It does not make a difference. The only difference is that it's interesting for the players because they're learning how are they going to approach game one against the team that's ranked last at the moment, and the next two games against the team that are first at the moment. So for me, it will be very interesting to observe how they approach those games, and is there a difference between the way they approach the games. So then it helps me for the following season to know, or for the playoffs, what I would have to change or not change, because every game is a new experience for those players who are new into professionalism. Apart from this, no difference. We're playing a OFC Pro League game. It doesn't matter the team. We're gonna, well, at least me, I'm gonna make sure the players approach it the same way. We're gonna give everything and see what happens at the end.
Cool. So looking across all those teams in the Pro League, which team has surprised you the most so far in terms of tactically, physically? Sorry?
Solomon Kings.
Because you've won against them and you also lost against them. So.
Yes, but I'm a big fan of what the coach is putting in place. They're 4-4-2, sometimes diamond, sometimes narrow. Is a very difficult formation to play. The intensity they put for a full game, constantly pressing. They're playing in very condensed areas. It takes a very good coach and very good training sessions to accomplish what they accomplish. And I went to watch their game, the last game in Solomon at home, and even the fans, you could see that whether the team, because the team lost and tied, but what they give to the fans, there's no way the fans would boo this team or be unhappy. It's impossible, because their level of energy and intensity and commitment to the club is amazing. So I'm a big fan of that team.
Yeah. And I noticed when I was down in Melbourne watching Circuit 3 and seeing the Solomon fans, they were by far the loudest, but the most emotionally invested, and it was a fun thing being in amongst those fans. That it was like, oh, wow, this is the noise we want for every single game, like it was great to see. It was great to see them. So would it also be fair to say they have been the tough, like I think you have said, like they've been the tough opposition as well. So they have been the surprise and also the toughest.
Yes. I won't go as far as surprise, because we played them during MSG with a different coach, and you could tell they had something going on for a while, and the players' connections and the fitness, you could tell they were one step ahead. And now they were the strongest one, because when we played them and actually won that game, I had to adjust tactically. And when a team forces you to switch your plans tactically to adapt to what they're doing, it really means something. We did well. The players responded well, because we switched formation twice in that game. And Solomon ended up conceding a red card, and we won the game. But even with 10 players, they kept on pressuring us, which was very impressive as well. And the second game was a bit different, because it was game number 3. And we had rotated many players, and I think they took advantage of it. And I mean, the scenario was a bit questionable, I would say, but this is football. And but yeah, it's a good team, and I mean, good for them. But again, Bula FC first.
Yeah, of course. And you're saying about the scenario questionable, and I think every situation is a learning opportunity, isn't it? And I guess that's the mindset you want also the players to take on board, no matter what happens. So, cool. All right, so I just want to ask about your dual role. So you're head coach of Bula FC, head coach of Fiji men's national team. How do you make sure those two roles work together, then pulling in different directions?
I would say one of the advantages is that the majority, a big percentage of the players with Bula FC are also involved with the Fiji men's national team. So it allows me, even the Vanuatu coach, the Solomon Kings coach, to work with the same players, which is really good for the development of the region. Then me personally, I really divide things. We are with Bula FC, and when it's Bula FC, I'm wearing the Bula FC outfit, and national team is not for now, and we're really focusing on Bula FC. When we had the international window, we almost had to play 2 international games. Then, I switched the uniform to the Fiji one, and I was fully focused on that. So definitely not a problem, and it's very good for the players because we get to work on the identity, the culture, and the style of play much more. When I was in the CONCACAF, you get your players for 10 days. You don't have time to do anything. You play 2 games, they go back to their clubs. So this is very good.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the identity because would it be fair to say the identity for Bula FC is also what you want to achieve in the Fiji national team?
I think it would be fair because it would be unwise to try to have 2 identities, 2 cultures when you have 80% of the players with you in the club. So yes, strong values, strong culture, a lot of professionalism and discipline. And once we have this acquired, the players will express themselves because I give them a lot of freedom offensively. So they will be able to express themselves, and we've seen it already. I'm not a restrictive coach because I've played at the highest level, and you cannot control players on offense. Everybody thinks different, and you have to give them that room.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're stepping into the future now. When people look back on your time in Fiji, what lasting change would you feel you've done as a coach? What do you want to, as like a legacy, what would you want to leave behind?
It's funny because I was asked this question the first press conference. Just making sure you're still. Oh yes, the first press conference I had. It was the first question I got in New Zealand, and I just answered that I want to. Whoever takes over after me, his first comment must be, "Wow, the guy who was before me really did a good job." Because I don't have to worry about doing this or doing that. This is already in place. I'm inheriting a very good staff. The players' mindset and professionalism is great. So that has to be the legacy. Whoever takes over after me is in a good place and doesn't have to do what I had to do.
Yeah, cool. Of course, I've got a couple more questions. These are like a rapid fire questions. What is harder, changing tactics or changing habits?
Changing habits.
I knew that.
Yes. As a former FIFA Talent Coach, I can tell you, we all know that you get your good habits between 10 and 14. After this, you start to break habits. So you get a player who's past that age, you have to break the habits, hope you get to do it, and then build new habits. Changing tactics is easier.
Easier, yes. Well, when you said you changed tactics like twice in the space of a match, I'm thinking, okay, well, this one's. I knew what the answer was going to be for this one. What is the most coachable trait in a player?
The most what? Sorry.
Coachable trait in a player.
It depends on the players, but
that's true.
It depends on the cultures. For example, an American player, the most coachable is hard work. I've never seen players work so hard. American players are really hard workers. French players, the most coachable is no matter what happens, we have this. If you watch the French national team play against Brazil, 10 players, no problem, scored 1. 2-1, a bit difficult, no problem, we're winning the game. So a French player is definitely that the belief that we have this.
Yeah.
For the Fijian player, the most coachable, which is probably was difficult at first, is to make them realize that, guys, you guys are good players. You guys worth more than what you think. And it took a little while, but now it became very coachable because they got to understand that, yeah, actually, we're good. So I start to enjoy it, and I think they start to enjoy it too.
Cool. One thing that young Pacific players must master to succeed internationally.
I would have said discipline, but this is sometimes it does not speak to people. Ambition. But again, you get ambition because there's a vision of something. So thanks to the OFC Pro League, I would say that now the players will understand how to build ambition. This is what's lacking. I was born in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, you see a lot of players from where I'm from, Guadeloupe, actually play in the top leagues with the French national team. Thierry Henry, Thuram, Coman, Martial, so many players. Thuram, the two sons. So your ambition is from a very young age. They're from Guadeloupe. I'm from Guadeloupe. This is what I'm going for. I know it's doable.
Yeah.
For the young Fijian players, I want them to start to have that ambition. We have a professional team. That's what I want to become. I'm going for it.
Yeah, very important, and that's the beauty of this league. I'm thinking, it gives players hope and ambition, like you said, and new standards to work towards. Yeah. Cool. Lastly, who is your biggest coaching influence?
All of them, and I think rightly so. All the coaches I had, we had a great coach when I was still young, developing. He was only about technique intelligence. He then became the director of the Moroccan Football Academy, National Football Academy, and now he's in the Ivory Coast. Then as a professional player, I had a coach in France who was only about the quality of play. Your first touch, your passes, everything has to be good. Possession. Then I had a coach who was very pragmatic, very, very pragmatic. He was just very French on the fact that we have training players, we have game players. I want game players. Doesn't matter to me how you train. Just be a game player. And then I went to the MLS and I had a coach who was very rigid. It was all about the organization, the culture. And actually, it taught me a lot about the importance of the organization and the club culture. So yeah, all of them. I got something from them. And I also got a lot of other things from them in emotional intelligence and player management. Okay. And actually, it was things that I did not like. So I try to make sure I do not replicate this with my players, because players, the mental is the most important. So you have to manage your players well mentally. And if you get to do this, you will have very good results.
Cool. Well, I've run out of questions, but is there anything that you'd like to, any last words or anything you'd like to tell our audience and subscribers, or the floor is yours.
I mean, I've seen a lot so far, but if I have to make it short, it's a bit not really football, but just make sure you're always thankful. No matter what your situation is, we always have the perception that things could get better. We sometimes think the grass is greener on the other side. So no matter what your situation is, God is looking at you. So be thankful and always know that some people could be in a worse situation, and just make sure you love each other. You know, we are quick to judge. We're not much better. So no matter what you do, do it with love, and make sure you use your talent wisely. Don't put them to waste, and do everything with a lot of love and thankfulness.
That is such a good, it doesn't apply to just football, but every walk of life and every person. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's great. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Nick's World of Football. I always leave it to the end because I'm so engrossed into the conversation. I always forget to mention it during the interview. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.